All right, YouTube, how you doing? Welcome back to the channel. It is Sunday, March 12th. We got 6 games on today's NBA slate. We're coming off of a winning, positive, positive night. We go 2-1 last night. We hit our 7.5 point teaser though, which was plus or even odds, I should say. So that is nice. It was the Celtics teased up to plus 2.5, Kings plus 12.5, and the Rockets plus 15 for plus money. We also hit the Thunder minus 2.5. The only loss that we had last night was the Knicks plus 5.5, but we will take the profitable night 2-1. We're going to jump into each and every game on today's slate like we always do. We're going to give you my lean on the spread. We'll talk about the total, but my final plays, just like yesterday, those final plays will be in the pinned comment, guys. So make sure to check out the pinned comment as the day progresses. I update it throughout the day, always in, obviously, with plenty of time before game time, guys. But yeah, 6 games on today's slate. We'll run through them real quick. Make sure to hit the subscribe button, hit that like button as well. We're on our way to 20,000 subscribers. You guys are still absolutely killing the like button. We had 290 plus likes on yesterday's video. Let's see if we can get 200 yet again. You guys are on an absolute heater when it comes to hitting the like button, so keep smashing that thing. But let's jump into the first game here. We got the Nuggets taking on the Nets. Nuggets 9-point favorites here at home. Total sitting at 230.5. These two teams last played in early February of last year, I believe, so we don't have much recent history to go off of in terms of a matchup. But in their last 10 games, Denver 6-4 against the spread. At home in their last 5, they are 3-2. But you have a Brooklyn team that's actually playing good basketball, 7-3 against the spread in their last 10. On the road in their last 7, they are 5-2. They've covered 5 straight games here. They were 9.5-point dogs against Milwaukee a couple games ago, and they actually end up covering that game too, keeping it close. I know Milwaukee was sitting some guys, but Denver, they have been playing good basketball, like I said, but they're coming off 2 straight losses. 9 points seems like a little bit too much to give if you are Denver here. I don't know if this becomes a final play. I wouldn't say that I'm, at the utmost confidence in this pick just because Brooklyn kind of has been inconsistent. Obviously, you don't always know what you're getting from them when it comes to who's going to score, who's going to play well, that type of thing. But I do think 9 points is a decent chunk of changer. So I'm going to lean Brooklyn here plus the 9. In terms of the total, I slightly lean towards the under. I could see this one finishing at around 228, 229. So I don't think the total becomes a final play, but I do like the under in this game if we were to give our lean. Moving on, we got Charlotte taking on Cleveland here. Charlotte getting 8 points at home. Total right now all the way down at 220. These two teams played in November. Cleveland won 132 to 122. In their last 10, Cleveland, though, struggling here. 4-6 against the spread. On the road, 2-3 in their last 5 games. But if you look at it more, I guess, a micro view here, Cleveland has been playing good basketball. In their last 6 games, they're 4-2 against the spread. But, you expand that sample size and you include that sort of rut that they went through probably a week and a half ago. Charlotte, on the other hand, playing decent basketball here. 6-4 against the spread in their last 10 games. But same exact thing for Cleveland. That 10-game sample size is going to make them look a little bit better than they actually have because Charlotte in the last 6 games, 2-4 against the spread. So you look at it from a 10-game sample size. Hopefully this is making sense. They actually look like they're playing decent basketball, but they're starting to sort of trail off, whereas Cleveland is almost the mirror image here. So I am going to lean Cleveland here minus the points. I know that is a decent amount, especially on the road, and given some injuries that Cleveland's looking at here. Jared Allen looks like he's not going to play, and Darius Garland is questionable, but I don't think that the Charlotte team really has what it takes to kind of stay in the same game or ballpark as this Cleveland team. So slight lean here towards Cleveland minus 8. In terms of a total, I like the over. Like I just said, last time these two teams played, it was like a 250 plus total finish here. Again, it was 132 to 122. I don't see a reason why that can't happen again. This Cleveland team, though they've been playing decent defense, they're still allowing some teams like Atlanta was at a couple nights, I don't know, late February, right? It's like 2 weeks ago, dropping nearly 140 on them. Boston's dropping nearly 120. So this is a pretty low number for what we're seeing here. The only issue is who's going to score for Charlotte. I only see them probably scoring 110, like 115 points maximum, right? So you're hoping that Cleveland comes in and is able to put up 120 or so and it cashes over easily. Moving on, we got Philly taking on the Wizards here. Philly 7.5 point favorites at home. Total right now 227.5. These two teams played in December. Washington won that game as underdogs, 116 to 111. They also won back in November as well. That scores 121 to 111. Philly did get the first meeting of the season, though. It was back in October. I think the same thing kind of happens here. I think that this is a season series that is going to even out. No injuries on either side, but Washington actually looked decent against with those 2 games against Atlanta. They dropped both games, covered one. didn't cover the next, but Philly is on a little bit of a roll here. They've won 5 of their last 6 games against some decent competition as well. I'm going to lean Philly here minus the 7.5 points. I wish it was like 5.5, 6.5, but who wouldn't when you have a line like this? But I am going to lean Philly minus the points. And in terms of a total, I kind of went back and forth on this, but I do like the over here. I think that this one could finish in the 230s, meaning we're seeing a 227.5 total right now. I do think that I go over there. Make sure to keep an eye on the pinned comment to see if that becomes a final play. All right, guys, moving on here. We got New Orleans taking on the Trailblazers. New Orleans getting 1 point at home. Total right now at 231 in this one. This one opened up at 231.5, so it's slightly moved down. If you like the over, I really do like the under. But if you like the over, you might want to wait this one out. Also, some injuries to note as well. Damian Lillard's questionable for New Orleans here. Brandon Ingram's questionable. So a lot of key guys in place that are questionable. So even before making a bet on this game, I would say keep an eye on it. But let's say that everybody plays, right? I do think I'm going to lean towards the home team here, New Orleans, plus the point. I don't think that this is really like a dynamite type play. But both these teams just kind of like roller coasters as of late, winning a couple games, losing, but then losing and covering and that type of thing. Neither one of them is really trustworthy to back as of right now. So I'm just going to lean towards the home team getting the point. In terms of the total, 231, like I said, I do like the under here. But again, a lot of guys that, questionable or injuries to shake out still. So if you do like this game for whatever reason, make sure to wait on that. Guys, before we get into the rest of the games here, I do want to talk to you guys about Jock Market, guys. That link's going to be in the description. It's an awesome app. 2 things I want to talk about. First, Jock Market. It's like a stock market exchange, stock market for players. You can buy players pre-game and then trade them throughout the game and compete with others peer-to-peer on who will have the most value in their lineup per se or in their bank per se at the end of the game or for the month. They have a March one going on right now, so you're constantly buying and selling players, and their performance dictates their current live value. So make sure to check it out, guys. That is one cool thing. And then the second part is their normal pick'em game like you have on all the other DFS apps right now. You can pick 1, 2, 3, 4, actually 2, 3, 4, or 5 players, more or less of their projection, and the more you get right, the more you'll get paid out. So make sure to check that out. Use that link in the description, guys. You can use code GUYBOSTON. The link should do it automatically, but you can use code GUYBOSTON. 100% of your first deposit is matched over there. So make sure to go check that out, guys. Definitely a cool app, and I wouldn't be pushing it to you guys if I didn't think it was a very cool and unique idea here. All right, let's go. A couple last games on the slate here. We're looking at San Antonio taking on OKC. OKC obviously covered for us last night, but San Antonio 3-point dogs at home. Total 237.5 here. This OKC team 5-4-1 in the last 10 against the spread. Spurs 4-6 against the spread here in the last 10 at home though. I'll give them credit where it's due. 2-1 against the spread in their last 3. But this Oklahoma City Thunder team is just playing good basketball when it comes to against the spread. Covering 4 of their last 5 games against some decent teams. The only drop that they had was when they just got pumped by Phoenix here. But obviously Shai Gilgeous-Alexander has been in and out of the lineup as of late. He's not on the injury report right now, but they're on a back-to-back. So make sure to keep an eye on that. Keep your ear to the ground there. I'm going to lean towards the Thunder here, minus the points. The back-to-back doesn't really scare me. It's a very young team. I think they can handle that. And they're playing the Spurs. It's not like they're going up against a tough matchup on the second half of this back-to-back. So hopefully they cash for 2 nights in a row here if it does become a final play. But I'm going to lean towards the Thunder here. And in terms of a total, I do like the under. I think this one can stick in the early 230s here. Not saying that that's going to be a final play because I feel like we've taken a bunch of OKC unders and whatnot as of late, and they're burning us to some degree. I shouldn't say a bunch. But last couple games, they scored 110 and 101, so maybe something's not clicking there when it comes to points scored. In our last game of the night, we got the Lakers taking on the Knicks here. Lakers 2.5-point favorites, total 225 in this one. I have to imagine that the Knicks come out with a little fire under their you-know-whats. They did not look that great last night, losing that game by like ultimately 11 points, right? They were in and out of that game at different parts of that game, but I do think that they were playing so well to come out of the All-Star break, right? And now they've lost 3 straight games against Charlotte, Sacramento, and the Clippers. I'm not saying all those teams are bad. Charlotte is. Sacramento's a good team. The Clippers are a good team. But to lose games like that, I don't think that that's going to sit well with them. They're in a back-to-back. Hopefully they kind of get things going. I'm going to lean Knicks plus the points. And then in terms of the total, 225, I like the over as well. Guys, make sure to keep an eye on the pinned comment. Like I always say, that is where the final plays will be. Make sure you smash that like button if you have not. We're on our way to 20,000 subscribers, so make sure to hit that subscribe button as well if you have not yet. But we'll catch you guys in the next video, all right? Peace out.